we have a fun way to start the show with a new friend of the program, Carm's newest best friend, as we go out to the Hooters Hot Wing Hotline. Carm, why don't you introduce your guy here?
Well, I don't think that I'll have a better moment this year covering the Bears or anything for that matter than what we had at the NFL Combine when my new favorite cornerback, and I'm going to call him my good friend Alijah Huzzie, was standing there on day whatever it was, hanging out, and I have to admit that I did have to do a quick Google search of who was that fine gentleman who looks eager and ready to play in the NFL, and then I saw he was at Carolina, and then I'm like, well, we got to talk Jordan LeBron, and we got to talk moments of how to get to this moment in your life. And Alijah was just awesome to talk to, and some of our fine friends at Yahoo Sports underlined that Travis Hunter had a slightly larger crowd, and it was just me and Alijah at the time, which there it is right there for you. I mean, look at the connection that was instantly formed. And those people, I don't know what they were doing over there.
Bandwagoners on the other side.
Right. I mean,
riding the gravy train.
I get it. You know, you're following the Heisman Trophy winner. No shade. But, you know, I just felt like, hey.
Are you going to introduce him? Or?
Well, yeah, we should probably bring Alijah we should probably bring Alijah into the show right now. Alijah Huzzie joining us here on the CHGO Bears Podcast. Good to see you, Alijah. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see y'all, too.
Were you hoping at the time that the one guy walking up to you was going to walk the other way, or did you want to talk to me at that moment? Can you remember having any of those type of thoughts?
Yeah, like at the beginning, I was just sitting there, like nobody was there, and I was like, okay, yeah, is this normal? And I was like, then you happen to walk up, and I was like, all right, let's get the ball rolling.
Do they prep you on that? Like, are they like, hey, by the way, you know, Travis Hunter's talking at the same time as you are, so, or are you just kind of going into it blind?
No, yeah, I was going into it blind. I had no idea what was going on at the time.
Yeah, well, from my experience the last 3 years covering the Combine, on Saturday when they interview the offensive linemen, it really tapers off. A lot of the media leave on Friday, so the crowd of media is a lot smaller on Saturdays. And so you'll see that a lot on a Saturday, but in the middle of the week, you don't see it as much. Obviously, Travis Hunter brings a lot of media press. And I've had this happen with some of the offensive linemen, and the question I would ask them is what I'd want to ask you. Did that give you a little chip on your shoulder in that moment, you know, understanding, you know, the way the media rolls one way or the other, and, hey, I want to get my name out there so people remember me one day?
Yeah, yes, sir. I would say it definitely gave me some motivation. I mean, I kind of already had a chip on my shoulder previously coming into it, but that just gave me even more of like a bigger chip to just get back right and just shock the world.
For those of you that like to play in the psychological world, what Greg was doing is called projection. And
oh yeah, it pissed me off. That's for sure. I'd remember that the rest of my life.
Yeah,
for sure.
I get it. Well, here let's rewind back though. Your journey, you started back at East Tennessee State, 2019. Played in a couple of games, ended up redshirting. You spent 4 years there. And then got an opportunity to transfer to Carolina, get yourself on the bigger stage. 2 years, and here you are at the NFL Combine. Like, just how you've sort of been battling your whole way here to get noticed, Alijah. What's it been like for you?
I would say, you know, coming out of high school, I didn't really have many offers as I did. Like, I wasn't ranked. I wasn't 5-star. You know, I also didn't play DB as well. I only played 1 year in DB in high school, so just making that transition, it was a grind for me from the start of college because I wasn't comfortable playing a position I never played before. So, you know, a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of effort went into just switching positions and making that transition. But I would say my coaches at ETSU, they really put their hands on me. They took time and they, like, helped me make that transition and just built me into this player that I am today. And I would say that transition to UNC was just even better. Like, I wanted to prove myself for the world and show people that I can play at that stage.
What was the hardest part of your transition?
I would say physically transitioning, like changing my mindset, physically and mentally changing my mindset. I don't have the ball in my hand anymore, and I can't control like everyone around me, but just changing the game, actually backpedaling, like and somebody's running at you full speed and having to change that mentally throughout the game. That was a big transition for me.
What is the biggest difference from being at the line of scrimmage as a wide receiver versus a DB when you're right up on the guy?
I would say DB, you have to react. Like, you don't know what this dude's about to run. He could run so many things. Like, he could do a lot of things that you just have to react off of. I mean, obviously, getting the game plans, and you can, like, eliminate some of those things. But, just being able to react and not knowing where this person's about to go or do, and, like, just being able to, like, adjust to the speed of the game, just being able to adjust to different receivers and the different styles of receivers, different play receivers. It's a lot harder than running a route and knowing where to go. But also, receiver wise, you have to depend on the quarterback. You have to depend on the O line. You have to depend on a lot of other things as well. And I would say, DB, you kind of just in your own world. You have to make the play, or he's gonna make the play. One of the two.
Elijah, I just want to point out we have a guest on the show almost every day, and your background, your camera, your audio right now is top notch.
Doing a great job.
Rising up draft board just based on the presentation here alone. It's fantastic. Hey, I'm the special teams guy here on the show. Give us I've seen some of the highlights. I know you can return, but give us the full special team scouting report, what you can do, because you know that's going to be a big part of your entry into the NFL and probably some of the things that you're going to have to do right away.
Yes, sir. I would say even my first 2019 when I went to ETSU, my first school, I always was a punt returner. They brought me in. They brought me in as an athlete, so they was kind of like, where do we put him at? But, my DB coaches, he took a chance on me and kind of grabbed me from the board. It was like, nice, if I play DB. But also, punt return, I was a return specialist. And I would say me playing baseball, like backyard baseball, and just being able to track the ball, get up under the ball, and do those little technique things to the T, I think that really helped me as a return specialist. And then also playing punt, I was a gunner or a vice, whatever you want to say, whatever word. I would say at UNC, they split me out wide, and I was a gunner, but also brought me in to be like a vice and kind of protect and shock shed, get out and run. But I would say that was it majority of my time in college, but also like freshman year, redshirt freshman year, I played kickoff. I went down and knocked some heads a little bit, But other than that, that was the only 3 special teams I played. I never was a kick returner, though. I never did that before.
Holga, I want to give you the green light in your green shirt to ask the nerdiest special teams question you could possibly ask about everything he just said.
Well,
I want you to really get in the weeds. Please do it.
Well, I can explain the vice thing later, but I want to ask you, since you brought it up, the baseball skills and tracking the ball. I mean, I don't think people understand, though. There's a huge difference between catching punts and catching kicks in the kick return game. Punts are way harder, not only because it's harder to track the ball, but you have 11 guys that are coming right on top of you as you're catching the ball. So I guess since Carm brought it up, give us our listeners and viewers here an idea of all that goes into catching a punt, because there's the spin of the football, there's the way it's tracking, all those things, and maybe go into a little bit more detail about how baseball help you. Okay.
I have a funny scenario. Have you seen the video of Jameis Winston describing punt returns to, I think, a dude in the stands one day?
Yeah, I do. I remember that video going around. I don't remember it specifically, but I know what you're talking about.
But basically, he was just like, I'll put it in my words too, but it's like you said, it's 11 guys running down the field. Well, first, it's the kick. That's not the 11 guys is like the last thing, but first it's the kick. Like some punters are different. Left foot, right foot, depends on the punter. Left foot comes off the ball, it could go directional. You have directional, you have pooch punts, you have the ones that'll drop on you. So obviously, just watching the ball come off the punter's foot, the direction, the spirals, and watching how it drops, and just being able to get up on it. I think that's the hardest part to do. My coach at ETS used to say, always catch the ball first, and the reward is you to be able to run. So I always took that with me on my journey. But just catching the ball first, I think, is the hardest part. And then the second is the flying bullets, where you have 11 people coming down the field running at you, trying to take your head off. So you got to choose wisely and read your blocks and read the people, and also trust the people outside that's blocking for you. And just having full faith in your teammates. They're going to put a hat on a hat, and me have to make one man miss, which is the snapper, and then the rest is history if it's made.
You got to have a ton of confidence to be able to sit back there and do it. Also a little bit of craziness, I think, too. There's got to be a little bit of that somewhere in you. I just
I was going to say, well, you saw it obviously with that Pittsburgh touchdown where you put the foot in the ground and threaded that needle right up the seam. That had to feel good because I'm sure, a lot of times it doesn't open up like that for you where you got to kick it to the outside and get the yards you can get and get out of bounds. But when you get that special moment where you can hit the crease and go as fast as you can up the middle, right?
Right, yeah, that don't come too often. You got to see it. When you see it, you got to hit it or you're going to lose it.
I want to shout out your parents because I was reading up, doing the background on you. Misty Ellie on Twitter, she's giving love to everybody, including her son. So shout out to your mom for being supportive of all the Tar Heels. That was sweet. And then I was checking out your dad too, who's also got his own. He's got his own special vibe too. So I'm trying to the confidence I'm talking about on punt returns. This seems to have been built into you for a long time. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, sir. That's fair.
Yeah. When you think about being on the next level, Elijah, what gives you the most confidence that you can do it?
Like on field confidence?
Yep. That you can step in, be the NFL guy.
I would say being able to be versatile as playing outside and inside. I think I don't think a lot of corners in this draft will be able to do that. And also my special team value that I bring to the team, I think that equivalates a lot and holds a lot of weight coming into the next level because I know that's going to have to be a role that I have to step into and be ready to perform. And also just my ball skills. I think I have elite ball skills, and I think that separates me.
Well, and watching some of your tape there, it definitely, you're not shy to get down into the box and make a tackle. So for you, your mentality getting down there, and what do you like more, coverage or getting down there and getting physical with somebody?
I don't mind. I definitely don't mind getting down and dirty. I don't mind going and tackle somebody. But I think that I like covering the best.
Can you
Just being able to eliminate somebody from the game is that's something sweet that I like to say. I can do.
In addition to, hopefully the Bears will be looking for some cornerback help in the middle of the draft during a little return up, which I'm anticipating. I'll be on the phone with Ryan Poles after this meeting here, Elijah, if that's cool with you. Which make sure.
What this is a meeting?
This is
a formal interview podcast meeting.
You got to go through CHGO before you get to the Bears.
Yes, yeah. we got to. This is the new process. The Bears are also interested perhaps in drafting a running back. What would you tell Bears fans about Omari and Hampton? If I know that name is out there a ton here, and Ashton Genty too, but what you got to compete against him all the time, so what would you say?
The best running back and coming out of the draft. Hands down, point blank, he's the best in my eyes. Went against him every day. He's a tank. He's a dog. He can run. He's smooth. I mean, he's not like the shiftiest dude, but you got to come tackle him. He'll put a move on you. You can't hand tackle him. You can't barely hit him. You got to wrap him up and take him to the ground. If not, he's just going to run through you like you never was there.
Apparently, he started lifting weights in junior high, Omari Hampton did. Does that sound about right? Does that lock in to the physicalness that you have to go up against to take him down?
I'm not sure about that stat right there. I never talked to him about that, but if that is the case, that's a freak of nature right there. God blessed him with a lot of abilities to be able to be that strong and only start lifting in junior high. That's crazy.
Hey, Elijah, when you find out that Bill Belichick's coming to coach North Carolina, is your reaction, thank God I'm going to the NFL, or is it, man, I wish I could stick around and play for?
I kind of wish I would have been able to stick around and play for. I think that would have been cool just to see the transition from him and Mac Brown and being able to be present in those meetings and pick his brain and just pick up little nuggets that he drops from here and there and just being able to be in the presence of a great, great coach.
You've had a lot of talent flowing through there. Competing against Drake May too?
Yes, sir.
What was the toughest part about going up again in practice against a guy that was drafted 3rd overall?
His decision making is spot on. I feel like everybody makes mistakes, but he rarely makes mistakes. When he knows where he's going, he knows where he's going with the ball before the ball even snaps. His pre-snap reads are pretty awesome. I would say we gave him a little trouble sometimes in practice, throwing the little disguises off and just being able to like trick him, which is a plus in our end. But I would say just the throws he makes, like he's a crazy back shoulder throw. You know, he can make every throw in the field from the hash to hash, sideline to sideline, down the field. So just being able to go against him definitely sharpen my game a little bit more and make me focus in on technique and like finishing plays.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, the last few years to watch North Carolina start to become a consistently good program. Now Belichick comes there. Duke's really been picking it up the last few years, and that Tobacco Road rivalry, I mean, growing up in the 90s to now, like Duke UNC in basketball is one of the top rivalries in all of sports, but to now see you guys, kind of picking it up on the football end of things, that had to be pretty rewarding for you to be a part of kind of that culture shift for the football program.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I definitely was a privilege to be a part of this team and this program, and to be able to be part of the era that picked it up a little bit. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, Elijah, when the Bears draft you, whenever they do, we're going to go right to the United Center and talk about how you, as a young man, were well aware that Jordan is the greatest player to ever play anything, despite the fact that you didn't get to see him growing up. You have that knowledge. And that was very impressive.
He's in North Carolina.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure I'm sure there are guys in your locker room that would say LeBron right there at Carolina. But you have
definitely LeBron, Kobe. They bring up Kobe. I even know some guys that say Kevin Durant.
See, that should be on the entrance exam in North Carolina. Like, if you say anybody other than Jordan, you're out. By the way, congrats to the Tar Heels for sneaking into the tournament. I know a lot of people are mad at them, but
Yeah.
Hey, this is an awkward ending to this interview, but I just want to rewind back. When you were because I'm just curious what it's like for a college kid in the transfer portal nowadays, just how crazy that is, because I know it's a real short period of time. I mean, do you feel like the athletes have the best of everything that's going on right there, or could it be better?
I would say we do have the best of both worlds, kind of being able to change schools or sceneries based off like you may not be getting playing time, or you might not think like the program fits you or the scheme fits you, or like, it's just not your time yet. But also I would just say that the negative about the transfer portal would be like the timing. Like I had like 2.5, 3 weeks maybe to make a decision of my lifestyle that I wanted to live. And I think that short amount of time, like I wasn't able to go on the visits the first couple of weeks because people were still playing. And like if you made it to a bowl game, you still had to wait after that. So I mean, like that timing of just communicating over the phone and maybe talking to a couple of players or calling your old coaches and seeing how this coach is, like I think that timing is a negative in the instance of the transfer portal. But I think it's a positive because it gives like players like, that may not fit the scheme or may just went on the wrong path when they first got to college, and able to just start a clean slate and be able to start their journey and continue to be the player that they want to become.
Well, before we let you go, Elijah, and we appreciate you joining, maybe if you wouldn't mind telling the fans here in Chicago what kind of player they would expect to get if you were drafted here by the Bears.
The type of player they would get if the Bears drafted me would be a consistent, hard-working player that shows up every day. He would be a great locker room. I would be a great locker room player, teammate. I'm low maintenance. I wouldn't do nothing off the field to get myself in trouble. Come to work every day. I'm fun, full of energy. I like to dance, like to have fun. Mostly like to have fun at practice. You'll never see me not smiling. I always keep a smile on my face, positive energy. I think they'll get the best DB in the draft.
Hell yeah, man. Well, we're rooting for you. And we're sorry that, you had to come across Carm, but I would say on the rankings of Carm interactions, you got one of the top tier ones, because sometimes they can go sideways. You just never know with this guy.
There's a reason why this guy's sitting here looking like he is, and it's because he's him, and we won't go down with that, Elijah. We're going to keep this professional. But, hey, congrats on how far you got, and I think you got a bunch of Bears fans now rooting for you. I know by the reaction online, there's a ton of people that are in your corner. So, listen, wherever you end up, go kill it. I have full confidence that you will, and we'll talk offline if you need any more further advice from me. But I feel like you probably got it from here.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you for just coming to say what's up, asking me questions, and taking a chance. That video happened. I mean, everything happens for a reason in my eyes. So, I mean, I'm glad you took the time to come over there and interview me, and I really appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, let it be a part of your story, right? 5-10 years from now, people will look back on that when you're making a name for yourself in this league, and that'll be a part of that story. So, we're rooting for you.
Dude, you deserved it. You got to that spot. You deserve attention. So, wherever it goes from here, it goes. But you absolutely deserved, as me and a whole lot more, for making it to that level in life. Zillion people play sports. They don't get to be at the NFL Draft Combine. It's a big-time accomplishment. So I just thought that you deserve respect for that period and a story.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate y'all.
All right, Elijah.
We'll see you soon, man. Wherever your journey ends up, we'll be rooting for you. Thanks, man.
Unless it's on the Packers. Then I'm not rooting for you.
I heard he might have talked to Green Bay.
Alijah Huzzie, man. Man, what a pleasure talking to him.
We all silly like the mayor.